The Listening To presents Not the Headlines.
I'm Bob Woodley from the Listening Tube. Graham Plattner has bailed from the race to be the new senator from the great state of Maine. The self-proclaimed socialist with a Nazi tattoo and a history of domestic abuse finally tipped the scales against himself when he was recently accused of rape. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for the Democrat apparatus in Maine and Washington, D.C. Not the fact that he's a socialist, not the Nazi tattoo next to his heart, not just any tattoo, but one that was symbolic of the most cruel and notorious of the Nazi Party. Not the domestic violence and physical abuse of women. They already knew about all of that and still supported him. He was what they saw as a prototypical man, someone who could establish that the Democrats were able to recognize one, after years of denigrating men and refusing to define a woman. That didn't work out very well, did it?
Similar, but different.
When his supporters among the Democrats were asked why they continued to support him right up to the rape claim, the standard response was that the Democrat Party is a big tent party. Because I'm old, I remember that description, big tent, being used for the Democrats before, but not for a long time. If anything, the Democrats have closed their ranks and become more exclusive. You have to check a lot of boxes to be what the Democrats want you to be today. It's not the same Democrat Party that my mom and dad supported. And with the addition of candidates like Graham Plattner and other socialist candidates that have suddenly enlarged the tent, they are actually trying to squeeze out the true American Democrats. Those who support candidates like Plattner will soon be kicked out of the tent. Those who don't will also suffer the same fate. That big tent is about to get very small because to be in it, you have to pass a lot of tests. There is no more straying from the party ideology, and the party is the Social Democrat Party. Not only is it their platform to eliminate the Senate, but have a president elected by the House of Representatives, not the population itself. They'll claim it's to give power back to the people, but once they have in office who they want, that will change, and the people will have no more say. It's similar to the authoritarianism the left keeps claiming Donald Trump is attempting. He isn't, and the socialists have a plan to do it. Right now, the radical left and the Democrat Party are so hell-bent on doing anything they possibly can to ruin Donald Trump that they invited socialists into the fold, simply because they thought it would give them a chance to win. But what did they give up for a mere chance? The answer? They gave up their oath to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States. Anyone who wants to eliminate the Senate and fundamentally change our form of government has violated their oath of office and should be expelled. They are giving aid and comfort to a domestic enemy that clearly states they want to dismantle the American Constitution. Do these people belong in the tent or not? Because if they succeed, the only people in the tent will be them. They'll use the downtrodden and the transsexuals, racists who think black people need lower standards to succeed, and the supporters of a place called Palestine that isn't even on the map, and haters of Jews as their cannon fodder. The white suburban women who've been taught to look at the world in such a defeatist way that their facts rarely rise to the level of their passion when it comes to protecting America's borders and evicting those here illegally. Even for them, the ones who check all the boxes of what it takes to be a purpose-driven tool of people like Bernie Sanders and George Soros will be left outside when those leading the charge for socialism get their way. If they get their way.
The listening tube will return at the speed of sound. Send email to thelisteningtube@outlook.com.
It's really up to the Democrat Party. Do they want to stand up for American values and sovereignty and law and justice? Do they plan to uphold their pledge to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States? Is there a way for them to expel the socialists who want to destroy the Constitution, or is it too late? Have the socialists taken control of the Democrat Party? Maybe there's still hope. Regardless of how long it took, Plattner is out of the race, and the Democrats in Maine made it be known in no uncertain terms that Plattner would have no input on who would replace him. That would be up to them, and not the voters of Maine. Sound familiar? The Democrats did the same thing with Kamala Harris. They recognized a candidate would inevitably fail, so they wait until the time is right, get rid of that candidate, and install one chosen by the select few, taking the power away from the people. The last time it was Joe Biden. This time it was Graham Plattner. Both times the votes of the citizens was overruled by party elites.
Well, that can't be right.
But I digress. Perhaps by witnessing the so-called progress being made by socialist mayors in cities like New York and Seattle, where promises made have not been kept, people will begin to realize it was all socialist snake oil. The tax base that socialism relies upon is leaving both places, and other more dependent people are moving in, hoping for the free ride they heard about, unaware that the money was already headed in the other direction. In the meantime, instead of abolishing the Constitution, we could abolish the teachers' unions and the money funding these socialist ideals and get back to teaching our kids that the American system of government may not be perfect, and it has room for improvement, but it's still the best humanity has ever devised. Teach them about the Declaration of Independence and why it was declared. Teach them about the Constitution and what it means and how it affects our lives and how lucky we are to be American. Socialism has been tried many times in other places. It always leads to poverty and despair and communism. There's a certain American spirit that makes us believe we can make anything work. And most of the time, we're right. But just because you're an American doesn't mean you can make socialism and communism work. The best thing we can do is archive this whole socialist communist illusion and work together with the Constitution that got us to where we are today. Then we'll really have a big tent.
You can hang your hat on that.
Follow The Listening Tube at thelisteningtube.com. I'm Bob Woodley for Thou Ad Infinitum.